The Sega Saturn struggled to stand out in a console war dominated by the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, but within the Saturn's eclectic library, there were a few hidden gems that not only showcased the system's potential but also left a lasting impact on gamers. One of these treasures was Dragon Force. What set Dragon Force apart from other strategy games of its era was its unique blend of kingdom management, large-scale battles, and real-time tactics. All wrapped in a vibrant anime art style, players could control one of 8 rulers, each with their own kingdom, in a quest to unite the land of Legendra against a looming evil force. At a time when most games emphasized either action or turn-based combat, Dragon Force delivered something different, offering a hybrid approach that merged the two in a seamless and satisfying way. Not only was Dragon Force critically acclaimed for its innovative gameplay and massive battles that could feature up to 200 characters on screen at once, but it also became a cult classic. Despite the Sega Saturn's commercial struggles, the game's ambition, charm, and complexity have helped it endure as one of the system's most beloved titles. For many, it was the go-to game that proved the Saturn was capable of delivering unique and unforgettable experiences. The world of Dragon Force takes place in the fantastical land of Legendra, a continent torn apart by war, ambition, and a looming ancient evil. At the heart of the conflict are 8 rival kingdoms, each ruled by powerful leaders vying for control. But while their ambitions drive them into conflict, a much darker threat overshadows them all. A legendary evil warlord, Madruk, long thought to be sealed away, begins to stir once more, threatening to plunge Legendra into chaos unless the kingdoms can unite to stop him. The player takes control of one of these 8 rulers, each with their own unique backstory, motives, and region to command. These characters are more than just figureheads. They each have personal stakes in the war, and the fate of their kingdom rests on their ability to navigate alliances, betrayals, and battlefields. From the noble King Wine of Highland to the mysterious Vangal, ruler of the desert kingdom of Bozak, Dragon Force offers a diverse cast of characters, each contributing to the game's layered storytelling. As you progress through the game, you'll recruit generals, build armies, and conquer territories, all while uncovering the true nature of Madruk's return. The game weaves political intrigue and ancient prophecies with a sense of urgency as the kingdoms are forced to set aside their differences, or risk being consumed by the dark power of the ancient warlord. What makes the story truly engaging is how it balances the personal ambitions of each ruler with the looming existential threat, giving players a reason to care about both the characters and the world. Ultimately, the heart of Dragon Force's narrative revolves around unity in the face of overwhelming darkness. The rulers of Legendra, once bitter rivals, must learn to trust and work together to stop Madruk's rise. Reflecting a timeless theme of cooperation and sacrifice, the story drives the gameplay forward, pushing players to expand their kingdom while always reminding them that the true goal isn't just domination, but survival against a much greater foe. At its core, Dragon Force combines 2 key gameplay elements: kingdom management and large-scale real-time combat. These 2 systems work together to create a deep and satisfying experience that sets the game apart from other strategy titles of its time. The game is played across a massive map of the continent of Legendra, where players can see the various kingdoms, castles, and territories. Your goal is to unite all 8 kingdoms under your rule, while also defending against the looming threat of Madruk. As one of 8 rulers, you begin the game with a set amount of land and resources, but expansion is crucial if you want to survive. You'll spend much of the game moving your armies across the map, conquering enemy castles, recruiting generals, and managing your forces. The strategic layer of the game is where you'll spend time building your empire. You'll need to recruit new generals to lead your armies, upgrade their abilities, and assign them troops. Each general in Dragon Force has a unique set of stats and special abilities, which adds a layer of depth to how you deploy them in battle. Troop management is also essential. You can assign different types of units to your generals, and these unit types have a rock-paper-scissors style relationship with each other. Archers are strong against flying units, but weak against cavalry, for instance. Where Dragon Force really shines, though, is in its real-time battles. These battles can involve up to 200 soldiers on screen at once, creating epic clashes that were a sight to behold in the mid-90s. When 2 armies collide, the game shifts from the world map into a side-scrolling view where you command your forces in real time. You don't control individual units, but instead issue broad orders to your troops, such as charging, retreating, or targeting specific enemy formations. The generals also have special abilities they can unleash during combat, like powerful spells or devastating attacks that can turn the tide of battle. In addition to the battles, the game also features a robust diplomacy system. You can form alliances with other kingdoms, trade resources, or recruit generals from defeated rulers. Managing these relationships becomes just as important as winning battles, as allies can provide crucial support in your quest to unify the continent. Of course, alliances can be fragile, and betrayal is always a possibility, which adds another layer of intrigue to the game. Overall, Dragon Force offers a unique blend of strategic planning and real-time action that was truly ahead of its time. Whether you're managing your empire, building alliances, or leading massive armies into battle, the gameplay is both challenging and rewarding, making it a standout title in the strategy RPG genre. For a game released on the Sega Saturn in 1996, Dragon Force delivered a visual presentation that really stood out. Its art style took heavy inspiration from the anime aesthetics of the era, with vibrant colors, expressive character designs, and detailed sprite work. In a time when 3D graphics were all the rage, Dragon Force stuck to a beautifully crafted 2D aesthetic, and this decision paid off. The game's character portraits and environments had a timeless quality, allowing it to age far better than many of its 3D contemporaries. The game's overworld map was presented in a clean, top-down perspective, showing off the different regions of Legendra in great detail. Each kingdom had its own distinct look, from the icy, snow-covered plains of Tristan to the desert landscapes of Bozak. This not only helped immerse players in the world, but also gave a sense of personality to each kingdom you sought to conquer or ally with. The castles, towns, and forts had a hand-drawn, almost painterly look, bringing the medieval fantasy setting to life in a way that was rare for strategy games at the time. Where Dragon Force really flexed its graphical muscle, though, was in the large-scale battles. Each general led an army of up to 100 troops, and seeing 200 soldiers clash on screen was nothing short of spectacular in the mid-90s. The sprite animations were smooth and detailed, with units like cavalry, soldiers, and archers all having their own distinct movement and attack animations. The scale of these battles, combined with the vibrant character designs, created a sense of grandeur that few other games could match at the time. Despite being limited to the Sega Saturn's hardware, Dragon Force maximized the 2D capabilities of the system, proving that beautiful sprite work and good art direction could rival early 3D games. The game's art direction still holds up today, especially for fans of retro anime-inspired visuals and sprite-based graphics. When it comes to music, Dragon Force hit all the right notes, literally. The game's soundtrack was composed by Tatsuyuki Maeda and Takeo Miratsu, both of whom brought a cinematic quality to the score that elevated the game's dramatic story and intense battles. The music was epic, bombastic, and perfectly suited to the large-scale fantasy world of Legendra. Each track had a distinct medieval flair, mixing orchestral sounds with synthesizers to create a sense of grandeur, adventure, and urgency. One of the standout aspects of the soundtrack is how each kingdom had its own musical theme, which helped set the tone for the different regions you'd explore. For example, the theme for the Kingdom of Highland, ruled by King Wine, had a noble and heroic feel, matching his traditional sense of justice. Meanwhile, Fandaria's theme, ruled by the enigmatic and cold Goldark, had a darker, more brooding tone. These musical cues added layers of atmosphere to the game, making each region feel unique and giving players a deeper connection to the characters and the world. The battle music, in particular, stands out. When the action shifted to the massive real-time battles, the music would swell with high-energy tracks that perfectly matched the chaos and intensity of hundreds of troops clashing on the battlefield. This soundtrack helped build tension during key moments, making victories feel triumphant and defeats all the more crushing. All in all, Dragon Force had an unforgettable audio-visual package. Its 2D art style and anime-inspired visuals have aged gracefully, while the epic soundtrack still resonates with players today. Together, the graphics and sound design created a rich, immersive world that drew players in and kept them engaged even as they spent hours managing armies, building alliances, and battling enemies. Although Dragon Force didn't become a household name like other RPGs of the 90s, its impact on the genre and its dedicated fanbase cannot be overstated. Released during the Sega Saturn's brief and tumultuous life cycle, Dragon Force stood as a beacon of what the console was capable of, offering a strategic experience unlike anything else at the time. For many players, it was a hidden gem that showcased the potential of the system's 2D capabilities in an era when 3D was becoming the norm. For strategy fans, Dragon Force was a game that combined real-time tactics with deep, satisfying kingdom management mechanics, laying the groundwork for future strategy RPGs. Its use of large-scale, real-time battles, where players could control armies of hundreds, was a groundbreaking feature in the mid-90s. Despite the game's innovative features, Dragon Force struggled to find the wide audience it deserved, primarily due to the limited success of the Sega Saturn itself. The Saturn, competing against the juggernauts of the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, never captured a significant share of the market, especially in North America. As a result, many players missed out on Dragon Force at the time of its release. However, those who did play the game found something special, so much so that Dragon Force quickly developed a cult following that persists to this day. This cult status was helped significantly by the game's North American localization, handled by the renowned team at Working Designs. Known for their humorous and engaging translations, Working Designs brought Dragon Force to Western audiences with a level of care and attention that earned the game even more goodwill. The localization added personality to the characters and dialogue, making the game feel more vibrant and engaging for English-speaking players. As with many Working Designs projects, Dragon Force became highly regarded for its charm and cultural appeal. The game's lasting impact was further cemented in the mid-2000s when Dragon Force was re-released for the PlayStation 2 in Japan as part of the Sega Ages series, giving a new generation of players the chance to experience its strategic brilliance. Though this remake never reached Western shores, it added to the game's legacy and renewed interest among hardcore fans of the genre. While it may not have reached the mainstream fame of some of its contemporaries, the legacy of Dragon Force lives on in the hearts of those who experienced its epic battles, intricate storylines, and unforgettable characters. It's a game that proved that strategy RPGs could deliver both scale and soul, leaving an indelible mark on the genre that still resonates with gamers today.